Where were you born?
Hartford, Connecticut, North End to be specific. New England, it is what it is.
Definitely Connecticut.
And still reside there today?
No, we actually stay in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy.
Yeah. We probably moved out there maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but Connecticut always.
Definitely.
And what age was that when you guys moved?
This was after college sometime, so I'll probably say 22, 23.
Yeah, around that time. 2015, definitely.
Yeah.
And what was the reason for the move back then?
Just wanted to pursue music, wanted to get out of my comfort zone. Just wanted to get out of Connecticut just to do something a little bit more. And New York was right there, so I just took the opportunity to do it.
Now, for the most part, you were in Connecticut.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, what was that city like during that time?
It's a gift and a curse, because me personally, like, you're proud about where you're from, where you know the things that you learn, but it's like limited opportunities. We're from Hartford, so it's an inner city area, and just like any inner city area, it's just like a lot going on as far as just poverty. You know, the hood, it is what it is. So it's a gift and a curse, but you got to see the bright side about it.
Definitely. Lack of resources, but a whole bunch of talent in the city. The city has a bunch of talented individuals in there, and you know, it's just different. We just don't have the necessary resources for a lot of people to make it out.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about music specifically making out, or we're just talking about in life general?
In life general, like
Yeah.
not even just music, like sports, art, fashion, everything.
Yeah. So I mean, you just got to look at it, because ask yourself, like, do you know anybody, or if you're like wanting to just willingly to go to Connecticut. It's not, we're between Boston and New York, so it's kind of like we're the middle child or whatever the case may be. So a lot of people just breeze through Connecticut. So as far as like resources, like creative wise, it's not much going on. It's starting to get there, but growing up, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
How'd you deal with that?
We just try to figure it out on our own. We just tried to step outside the box, figure things out on our own, because we didn't have like a big brother of the city to really like follow their footsteps or like follow a blueprint. So we just kind of just went with the flow with a lot of things, step outside our comfort zone. We thought outside the box a lot, and then, you know, we just made a lot of things happen, made music on our own, did a lot of events on our own, things like that.
Yeah, and for the most part, how we got like a name in Connecticut, we were just throwing events, throwing parties. We had like a group of people that we hung with, and we all went to different high schools, and we just all knew like a bunch of different people. So anytime we'll come together to have an event, it was just like a whole collection, full circle moment, and it was just a good vibe.
Yeah, and then we incorporated our music with that. So with our events, we were playing our own music at like those events and like just promoting ourselves. So
passing out our CDs, everything.
These were high school events, these were college events, these were adult events, teen events?
Yeah, initially it was like high school, teen, and then like after high school, whatever. As we grew, like our crowd grew. So we was just following, you know, ourselves, and they were following us as we were growing.
You were doing events and parties, but you weren't always performing at them. You weren't always booking yourself for these events, so to speak, correct?
No, it was just more so just have like a great social gathering, because like I said before, there's a lot of limitations in regards to what you can do in Connecticut or Hartford in general. So it was just more so bringing people together rather than just us performing or something like that, just having a good time.
Yeah, so mostly we was like just providing a wave, like we were providing something to do for a lot of people. So you think there's a city with not much to do, we were providing the things to do, mostly.
Was that profitable?
Oh
definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that honestly allowed us to stay out of trouble for the most part, and then allow us to make a lot of funds at a young age to promote ourselves, to promote our music, to do everything.
Because I'm sure there's people watching this and they try to throw an event and not so profitable, maybe a loss.
Yeah.
Right? How can you avoid that? Is that avoidable? Because obviously I'm sure there's event promoters and things of that nature that make a lot of money off this stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
people that lose a lot of money off this
Definitely.
stuff.
I think it just comes from the mindset of thinking like the consumer, or thinking like the customer, or thinking like the person listening to music or something like that, or what's gonna get somebody outside to an event. You know, I think we always thought from like that perspective,
Yeah.
and that's how we always was like profitable with our thing. So when you go to a lot of events, you don't see like the people throwing it, but we're there, we're at the door in the party and everywhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we're playing our music.
And I think you gotta go into it not expecting to make money, because if you're focusing on the money, you're just missing like the little things that people enjoy about like a party. And even if it's not a successful event, I always tell people like you can't be scared to take the L, because the L is you're gonna eventually come up at some point. So don't be scared, especially on the first event. Don't be scared to take the L. Like, it is what it is.
And what type of events were these? How would you describe these type of events? They were like just performance-based events? These were nightclub events?
Mainly nightclubs and cookouts, day parties, things of that nature.
Just a social, like a big social event, like similar to kind of like a festival. You know, we had like a lot of like just people together, a lot of vibes.
And you mentioned different types of scenarios of events. Which one was the most profitable?
Well, right now, so in Connecticut, we do this thing called Patronathon, right? So, and we're actually taking it to Virginia. And it's gonna be global soon, but that's probably the most successful event that we have so far.
And what kind of event? Describe that type of event.
So, pretty much it's a day party, cookout, but we also incorporate vendors. So this year that recently passed, we had like hookah vendors out there, food vendors, and just clothing vendors as well. And we have like a DJ set up, and the theme of the party is unlimited drinks. So we provide unlimited drinks for our customers. And it's just a great time, to be honest.
The vibe is always great. It's always good for like business on our end, but it's also good like socially. Like a lot of people enjoy themselves, and we set it like we set the tone. Like we set a really dope vibe, and you know that's pretty much how it is.
Would you also host I mean, I know you would play your own music at some of these functions, but would you, and I know you said you would work the door and the tickets and stuff like that, but would you ever become the life of the party, so to speak, and become the host of these events?
Yeah. As it gets bigger, I think that's definitely the idea, is like hosting, being like front and center for a lot of it, but I don't think it's necessary right now. I think it's an event that's growing, and we want to grow with the people that's coming. So we have like a lot of repeat customers there, and we're mingling with them, and we're in the crowd with them, and they're next to us, and they get to mix and mingle and talk and take pictures. So it's like really dope how we got it set up right now.
Yeah, and just to add, like anything that we do, we always incorporate the mantra that is bigger than us, because like with our music, with our events, anything is always bigger than us. There's always a bigger purpose. So we just want to provide that opportunity or that experience for people.
Now, when I asked you about growing up and the description there, you mentioned poverty.
Yeah.
Was that something you personally grew up within, economically speaking, financially speaking, or was that something you guys were able to avoid?
No, we definitely grew up and saw the highs and lows. Both of our parents was in the streets. Definitely, you know, they sold drugs and stuff like that. So like parents working a 9 to 5, we never saw what that looked like.
Yeah.
So we saw the highs and the lows. There were days where it was bad, and there were days where it was good. I think what the main, like our parents really just tried to keep us focused on things we were interested in. My dad is really into music, and he really like got us into our love for music.
And like just to add with that, you know, it's like any other like inner city area. You know, you're on Section 8. You probably have like a single parent household. I barely knew any people, like anybody. Any of my friends had like both parents in the house. Maybe like 2 or 3 that I could think of right now. But it's just at the end of the day, it's just, you know, trying to find like the good in the bad. So, you know, poverty or whatever, if we had less, you don't necessarily grow up thinking, well, when you're young, you're not thinking like, damn, we're at some type of disadvantage or we're poor like this. You think everyone is like that until you see something else, and
Definitely.
you're like, oh, everyone isn't living like this.
Yeah.
And then it starts to like broaden your eyes, your horizons, or whatever the case may be.
Now, obviously, in America, people get placed in financial classes, and we talked about poverty here.
Definitely.
But was your family? And let me just go over the financial classes people usually get put in. There's poor, there's lower middle class, there's middle class, there's upper middle class, there's rich. Was your family ever able to move up higher in class as you grew up, or was it poverty for the most part?
To be honest, I don't really know how to classify that, to be honest. I would say we remained at poverty, grew up having Section 8 or whatever. Our parents are immigrants from Jamaica, and they did what they could do for the most part. We always lived in the hood. So if you're asking if we stepped up after that, I didn't see that, because till this day, like, our peoples is
still in the hood.
Yeah, so
I think it's, I mean, from their situation, like they're immigrants from Jamaica, that's definitely a better situation than what they were in prior to. As far as like growing up in Connecticut, I feel like it was just like a stagnant. We're still like kind of in the same kind of boat, I guess.
What was the biggest obstacle you faced money-wise growing up in poverty, thinking back?
I mean, we moved around a lot.
Yeah.
There were times where like the power was off. The heat was off.
You gotta open the oven to keep the house warm.
Yeah, there was a time where we like lit the house up with candles because the light was off. We were in hotels sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it was like we definitely moved around a lot. Like, so I think that was like a real that's something that really stood out in my childhood and our childhood. We just was like moving around a lot. There were high points and then there were really low points. And when the low points hit, they were really low.
Yeah.
Those times the heat would be off, the power would be off. How long are we talking was the longest span some of these items would be off for?
I'd probably say like a week, a couple weeks or so. Never like up to a month or something like that, from what I can recall. But it was never like for like a long period of time, but it would happen periodically.
Yeah, and it was like our parents didn't make it seem like that it was a problem.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It didn't seem like it was something that was going on. But now that I'm older, I'm like, why were we in hotels? Why were we lighting the apartment up with candles? Like, why we had to heat up the apartment with stoves? Like, well, at the time I didn't realize it, but now that I'm older, I'm able to see a lot of those things.
You grew up in a two-parent household?
No, just with with our mom.
Yeah, but our dad was definitely involved in our childhood, definitely.
You lived under the roof of your mother. Would you ever live under the roof of your father?
We did at a point in time. When we were really younger, we lived with both parents, but I guess their situation really didn't work out. Our mother actually ended up going to jail, and we ended up living in Jamaica for a little bit.
Yeah.
So when my mom was in jail, we were in Jamaica with my grandmother, and then when we moved back to America, we were just living with our mother. So their situation, I guess, didn't really work out. But like I said, like my dad was heavily involved in our upbringing and stuff like that.
You remember what age it was when your parents separated?
It was, honestly, we were like too young, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like we weren't even in school yet or nothing to that. Like I just remember living with both parents at a point in time and then just being separate at a point in time. And then from there, it just been like that.
Yeah.
So.
When you do that time in Jamaica, do you remember how long it was you were living out there for?
Yeah, it was like 2
3 years or so.
3 years.
Yeah, just about 2-3 years or so.
And then we wasn't with any parents. We were with our grandmother.
Yeah.
And it was poverty out there as well.
Yeah, I mean Jamaica is different. Like it's not like, well, the part of Jamaica that our family from, it's not like the vacation spots that people go to.
Yeah.
So it's just, people in the house, grandmother cooking and stuff like that. But it's just really, it's a humbling experience. Like even when I went back recently, it's just like, we in America, a lot of people just complaining about unnecessary stuff or have some type of privilege about them, and it's like, it could be way worse.
Yeah.
Like it can be way. That's why I don't try to like stress the us growing up in the hood or even in the poverty part of it, because it's like, yo, it could be, it's third world countries out here.
Definitely.
Like that's don't even have clean water, don't even have electricity. You feel me? So that, man.
I mean, Jamaica was definitely a great experience, and I felt like that experience helped us growing up, because like he said, like seeing like the hood, it could always be worse. Like it could always be a worse situation.
Care to share what part of Jamaica this was?
Albertville, Kingston.
Now, when it came to your actual parents, did they, even though they split up, did they have a good relationship with each other when it came to co-parenting, you two?
Like co-parent? It depends, man. Look, I could call my dad now and he's have a million things bad to say about my mom. And vice versa. Like they had whatever issues that they had. They can come to like a common ground, like when it comes to us. But like as far as them getting along with each other,
that's kind of hard to do. That's hard to see. I rarely remember them having a good time together like that. They are good times, but really, they just come together for us.
There was that time when you went to Jamaica. Your mother was in jail.
Yeah.
Do you remember how long she was incarcerated for back then?
I guess for the same amount of time we were in Jamaica, like 2.5 years or so.
Yeah.
And was it a charge she was able to beat, or that was time she was serving due to the charge?
Honestly, I don't know like the details of it, like, and I never really like asked her about it. It's just something that kind of happened. So I'm honestly not too sure about it. So I know it was just like a scenario where they was considering deporting her, because like I said, both parents are from Jamaica, but thank God that didn't happen.
Now, your parents was separated, as mentioned in this interview. Just thinking back, how do you think that affected you guys? Separating of the parents. Growing up.
It's weird because I can't, like, we were really young when they were together. So that was really a short amount of time. So majority of our whole life, they've been separate. And I feel like there's pros and cons on my mom's side and there's pros and cons on my dad's side. But, you know, I feel like we just take, like, my mom is really driven and my dad is really focused. Like, so we just kind of like, I feel like we just got both elements of both parents and how they go about doing things.
Yeah.
Let's say somebody's watching this, and maybe they're dealing with the separation of their own parents. Now, of course, circumstances could be different for everybody, but is there anything you would say to somebody watching this interview, listening to your story, and going through similar emotions, the separation of their parents?
I would say if it's possible, and I know it's not possible for all scenarios, if it's possible, definitely try to have a relationship with both parents. Like, that was a benefit for us. Because even though our parents weren't in the same household and they split, it never felt like I never had my dad. It never felt like that.
And did you ever have a step-parent?
No. Yeah. I mean, I kind of appreciate that. Like, to be honest.
Yeah, my mom did a great job.
Yeah, my mom held us down regardless. She did what she could, like, for her kids. I'm not sure, like, why we never had, like, a step-parent or whatever the case may be, but, like, even if they had, like, a situation or was, like, in a relationship with somebody else, they didn't try to, like, incorporate that person into our lives like that. So I appreciate that. So.
And still a good relationship with both parents today.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, you did mention your parents were in street activity.
Yes.
What things would you see growing up that they took part in?
I don't want to go in too much details, but it's just more so about finding ways to get money and hustling, you know, and just doing what they had to do to get the money and, you know, putting food on the table.
Yeah, I mean, we just came from, like, the Trap Museum, man. I feel like that just brought a bunch of memories back. Like, I felt like I was, like, going back in time just a second ago, so.
Yeah, little inklings, you know, it is what it is.
When it came to street activity, because you did experience your parents in that lane of life, did you get involved in street activity yourselves, or were you guys able to avoid that?
Yeah, I think to answer your question, no, right? And you have to think about this. Like anybody that's watching this, I can understand like they may not be from the hood or whatever the case may be, but you can be from the hood and not be in the streets.
Definitely.
Like people gotta understand that. I chose not to do any street activity only because I've seen like my parents do it. We had an older brother that did like 10 years for being in the streets or whatever the case may be. Friends that got locked up doing football numbers. So it just depends on the person. But me personally, I just took away from that. Didn't want to get involved from that. Now we were still in the hood and still out there, whatever the case may be, but as far as like selling drugs and stuff, nah, man, I wasn't doing that, man. I was trying to find other ways to get money.
And that's where the music and the events came through.
Yeah.
Like, once we started, like, so we wasn't involved in like street activities, but we were outside like any person in the hood. Like, you know, you grow up in the hood, you see everything, you're around everyone, you're around the hustlers, you're around the drug dealers. When I saw the amount of money we were making from events, matching it with the same amount of money the people were making on the streets, I was like, oh, we got to figure it out. You know what I mean? We got to figure it out. We making the same amount of money y'all making, y'all out here all day.
Yeah, so if we could take that off one event and stay consistent and build, I felt like over the long period of time, because all that is quick money. Like the hood is just like selling, that's quick money, and it's not like forever. Yeah. Like either somebody gonna rob you, somebody gonna kill you, you're gonna go to jail. Like it's just not even worth it, to be honest.
And then it's so easy to jump into that. Like we come from that, so we done been robbed, we done been in fights, like we done been in like serious situations where like guns pulled out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's so easy to go that route. I think we did the opposite. We did the hard part. You know what I mean? We chose a different route. We try to make money a different way, and we try to stay away from all that. I mean, coming from the hood, you can't avoid fights. You can't avoid like street stuff. Like it's just gonna come to you regularly. But like just trying to push through that, that's the hard part. And I feel like we definitely did that.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like you guys broke the cycle in your family?
Oh yeah, definitely. We did that. I think like we did that just like from a mental standpoint when we was in high school, to be honest. And then we ended up going to college in Virginia, and then from there, our mindset just expanded, and then we came back and just became better, you know. And life right now, we're still just trying to figure it out. So it's just a learning process, no matter what.
Now, even though your parents were in street activity, did they try to steer you away from it?
Yeah, my mom was kind of strict. Like, our mom is kind of strict. Anybody that know our mom don't play no games.
Yeah.
And like my dad, he was really like, I feel like mentally he was like grooming us. He groomed our minds to let us know that it's bigger than this. Like it's bigger than what you seeing outside. And I think that's from them coming like from Jamaica and stuff like that. They've seen like a step below where we were at, and to us that's like the lowest we've been. So they seen a step below that, and then they just put in our minds like, yo, it's bigger than this out there. There's a whole different world out there that you could explore and play around with.
And I just recall my dad always saying like, you're just lucky to be born in America. Like he would always say that, and when I was younger, I just never really understood why he would say that. But like now, it's just like, okay, I get it.
Were your parents able to escape street activity and that lifestyle?
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, they're not like involved in anything.
Yeah, definitely. They became really like successful in a lot of things.
Was it something that was like a progression to leave the street activity and do other things, or was it like the flip of a light switch? It was like a cold turkey type of thing.
I think it was a progression. Like I don't remember just one day it just stopped.
Yeah.
That like I don't remember that. So.
Yeah. It stuck around for a long time. Definitely.
When it came to you two, was it music first, or was it events first?
It was music first.
Man, always.
Definitely.
How young did that start?
Man, let's think. It must maybe like 10, something, 9.
10 when we really started to like really get into it. But even like our time in Jamaica, like my dad had a studio in Jamaica.
Yeah, he had a studio in
So
Jamaica.
we used to like play around in the studio in Jamaica. Like my cousin is an engineer and stuff like that down there. And then like he used to make beats and stuff like that. So we was always around it. But like around 10-ish, like we really started to get into it. Like our best friend, Quandell, we ended up like getting like a recording like boombox kind of thing, and we was on like the windowsill, and we used to make beats on the windowsill and then press record, and that's how we really started to like record ourselves. And, and then we ended up, as we got older, my dad started to buy us like more equipment, then we got like Pro Tools and things like that, and we just started like just putting our music everywhere, like online after that.
Yeah, and then as we became like teen at like 14, we remember just going around the city with my boy Kamar. We would just like be like battling people around this. Anybody that rap, oh you rap, let's battle, let's spit
rap.
or whatever. He used to just spit like the best verse that you had, and then from there it was just kind of like a progression.
Yeah. So the actual events came from our group. We were all doing music.
Yeah.
Like, so we were all doing music. It was just like, how we gonna get our music out there? We're already popular. You know, let's just start throwing like parties. Everybody going to parties now. So if we play our music at the parties, then we'll eventually grow, and then we the ones throwing the parties. That's like even better.
Yeah.
Now, which one of you guys was rapping first, or was it simultaneously?
It was
Definitely
like
simultaneously. I don't even remember a time where he wasn't rapping. That's never been a scenario.
It wasn't that.
And was it a duo from the very jump?
Yeah, from the start. But like I said, my boy Kamar, they call him Miles, he was always with us. So it used to be us three together, but we would work like separately. Like so, Kamar, he'll make his project. Shout out to him. He had a dope project called Mission to Mars. That shit was dope. And then us two would have a project together. And then we'll do features with each other like here and there.
And then we had like a group. It was called GD Rich Kids. And then we just all made music together. We used to make collabo mixtapes.
Yeah, like my boy Pop used to make music. Shout out to him. So it was just my boy JB. He would just do like the videos and like the picture stuff for us. But he made music too, so it was dope. Yeah.
Why not each of you just do solo and be solo artists? Why a duo? Why not a trio with you and your friend?
Well, as far as like a duo, like it only makes sense. Like we twins, like that's a marketing scheme in itself. Definitely. Like you see us already, you just want to kind of see what we about. And I think it was just more so just being able to work with my brother. Like this is the dopest shit ever.
Yeah, like to make a dope ass track with my brother, like be in the studio with my brother is the best feeling ever. Like why wouldn't you want to pursue your passion with somebody that you love? Definitely.
And you guys are identical twins?
Yeah. I don't think we look that much alike. I always tell people like you can tell, and once you know us, you can tell the difference. Yeah. But as far as just seeing us, I guess we look that much alike.
When you were younger and you looked at pictures, were there times where you looked more identical than you do now?
I mean, people say that, but I know who I am. Like, I know I could point myself out in the baby pictures. Like, regardless.
I guess like the only thing is like when our parents used to like dress us up to in the same outfits or the same outfits with different colors. But yeah.
Do you guys ever do the dress up thing now?
I ain't dress up. Our parents stopped that because they knew we wasn't with that. Like at all. Like.
No, but I mean like even when you guys are on stage, has there ever been an event or a moment where?
Nah, it's just like I don't know why people just expect like the twin thing to just keep going. But nah, like we don't think our own thoughts, none of that shit. Like, people be thinking like I don't know where that comes from.
I think you gotta be a twin to really understand. Like it's not like how people see that. Like not for us, maybe it is for other twins, but like we just want to be our own person. Like we brothers, but we still us. Like,
our personalities are different. Like when we are on tracks together, like the flows and styles are different. Like and you know, people that are really fans, they can definitely pick up on that. Yeah.
How many minutes apart are both of you guys?
20 minutes.
And who's the older one?
I'm older. Fame older. 20 minutes. You know, I'm a big bro.